Hello everybody, welcome to the channel and welcome to Mock Draft 2.0. Let's get a look at what each team is now projected to do. Now that I've changed some of my opinions, the Bengals, of course, would be on the clock with the first pick. Joe Burrow, quite obviously the first pick. That has not changed. Joe Burrow, the home state kid, Ohio State lost him. I don't think the Bengals will. They will bring him into Cincinnati and get a new franchise quarterback to take over for Andy Dalton. The Washington Redskins sitting at number 2. Another obvious choice that has not changed since my first mock draft. Chase Young. Definitely going to be the choice here out of Ohio State. Just an absolute beast on that defensive front, and the Redskins can't pass on the best defensive prospect in this draft class. So I feel like Chase Young is instantly a Redskin. That brings us to the third pick, which would go to the Lions. Now, I do think that there could be a trade potentially here, but I am not mocking trades in this mock draft either. I will maybe mock trades in the mock draft that will come out after the scouting combine. I do think Jeffrey Okudah will be a Detroit Lion, also out of Ohio State. At number 4, there's many places that the Giants can go with this pick. They could take anything on defense. I see a lot of mocks taking Isaiah Simmons going to the Giants at this point, and I think Simmons' draft stock could really rise and continue rising, but I still think that the Giants really need to address that horrid offensive line. It was still bad last year, albeit a little bit better than in previous years, so I think Jedrick Wills goes to them. Another Alabama product going at number 5, and that would be Tua Tagovailoa. If you don't think Tua is going to be a Dolphin, you haven't been paying a lot of attention. I really think that Miami's been going after him for a really long time. Yes, the hip injury is a hip injury, but the Dolphins can afford to let him sit and wait a year if he needs to recover that hip injury. They could either bring Ryan Fitzpatrick back or just let Rosen start for the year. Justin Herbert will be the third quarterback to come off the board, and LA gets a new franchise quarterback. With them moving on from Phillip Rivers, I feel like Justin Herbert is definitely their pick here. Who knows? It could work out better than my Dolphins taking Tua. I don't know. I've never been Tua's biggest supporter, but Justin Herbert, nonetheless, an LA Charger. At number 7, Derek Brown, the big DT, going to Carolina. I could also see them going with a guy like Isaiah Simmons here, having just lost Luke Kuechly and possibly needing a versatile player on defense. But Derek Brown, big DT, a surefire thing on that defensive front. I think that Carolina will go with a blue chip prospect to replace a guy like Luke Kuechly as a leader on the defense. Second offensive lineman coming off the board. Arizona could really use some help on that offensive line front. Andrew Thomas can certainly provide that for them. Coming out of Georgia, yes, they could get Kyler Murray a weapon here. Jerry Jeudy I could see going here. CeeDee Lamb I could see going here. But now I think I've changed my opinion into an offensive lineman going to Arizona. So we move on to the Jaguars, and I feel like Jacksonville will be the ones to have Isaiah Simmons fall into their lap. At least that's how I feel today. Isaiah Simmons, a very versatile player on defense, very athletic defender, and I feel like he could play safety, he could play linebacker, he could play safety and linebacker both in the same game. Who knows what they could do with Isaiah Simmons, but a great player nonetheless. That leaves the Browns, and of course they're going to be looking for offensive line. They need to protect Baker Mayfield. 2 big tackles already off the board. They'll take the third in Mekhi Becton. So 3 offensive tackles going in the top 10. I could really see this being a heavy offensive line draft. A lot of teams need offensive line. A lot of teams need receiver too, but that class is super deep. That brings upon the Jets, and they will go with edge rusher K'Lavon Chaisson. I feel like K'Lavon is exactly what the Jets would need. They just had way too many injuries last year, a lot of injuries being on the defensive front, and they could really use another edge rusher and move on from some of these older guys. They seem to take a lot of edge rushers. They just don't really work out. I hope this one does for them. That'll bring up the Raiders, and they will take a weapon on offense for whoever their quarterback ends up being. Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama, definitely a 5-star prospect and athlete at wide receiver. Definitely a guy that any quarterback would love to throw the ball to. Maybe it's Tom Terrific in Vegas this year. Who knows? But either way, even if Derek Carr is still the quarterback of the Oakland Raiders, he could use a guy here like Jerry Jeudy. So that moves us into the next pick, and I have the Indianapolis Colts going with CeeDee Lamb here out of Oklahoma. They're very happy that one of the two big receivers was able to drop into their lap, in my opinion, here. Even if they try to move on from Jacoby Brissett, I mean, the best thing that they could take with this pick is Jordan Love, Jake Fromm, Jacob Eason. I mean, I just don't think that those guys are worth a first-round pick in this draft. I think CeeDee Lamb is the more surefire bet, and they got to get somebody opposite T.Y. Hilton for when he is done playing football. So, I did just mention Jordan Love, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers currently don't feel like they have their franchise quarterback on roster, in my opinion, and I think Jordan Love will be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He could fit the offense of the Bruce Arians style, just bombing it, airing it out to Evans and Godwin and Perriman and guys like that, just throwing all these bombs. And I don't know about his accuracy. He's going to have to learn some things, but hopefully Bruce can teach him those. Henry Ruggs III I have going to the Denver Broncos, and Ruggs, might be the third receiver taken in this class, but he could very well end up being the best receiver in this class, and I think that's where Denver really takes their shot, because opposite Cortland Sutton, you need that other big play receiver, and Deshaun Hamilton could get into the slot. You could have three nice young receivers to grow up with Drew Lock, who looks like he could be a young franchise quarterback. The Falcons to go with A.J. Epinesa here. Another edge rusher. The edge class is really a big drop-off after Chase Young, so, another 15 to 17 picks later, A.J. Epinesa coming off the board to Atlanta. They could use help there. That'll put the Cowboys to have Grant Delpit fall right into their lap. That's exactly what they want. They wanted Jamal Adams. They couldn't get a deal done with New York, but they can get Grant Delpit to join up on the squad, and that is a huge pickup for them. One of the best safeties clearly in this draft class. I'm sure they'd love that. That brings up the Dolphins, and the Dolphins obviously trying to get some offensive line help. They had to go franchise quarterback at 5, but here at 18 with the Steelers pick, they can take Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa, the 4th offensive tackle to come off this board already, and who knows who's really going to end up being the best one out of all of them. We really don't know. We haven't even seen them in the combine yet, but I think Wirfs is a good pick here. Patrick Queen out of LSU is somebody who has been rising up these mock drafts that I've been taking a look, and I've looked at all the big ones, and Patrick Queen seems to be a pretty popular pick going to the Oakland Raiders. I don't know a ton about him. I need to watch him in the combine to really know, but if there's this much buzz, it's very possible that the Oakland Raiders could be thinking about him with their second first. That brings up the Jaguars and their second first that they got from the Rams, and Javon Kinlaw is an amazing pick at this pick. Just a great, versatile, athletic defender. He can play outside on the end position. He can go inside on the defensive tackle position. Obviously, that's where we've slotted him at. Defensive tackle and linebacker with Isaiah Simmons / safety. Getting some versatile athletes to play defense. That Jaguars defense could be scary. The Eagles go Justin Jefferson out of LSU. They need a wide receiver. They can only get the fourth best one. Who do they think that is? I don't know, but personally, I think Justin Jefferson is exactly what the doctor ordered for Philadelphia. They need a guy that is young, that has some speed, and that can stay healthy and catch the football. Something they didn't have with Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson this year. That brings up the Bills, and they've been looking at receiver, and T. Higgins is exactly the receiver that they've been looking for. The guy is 6'4". They have nobody over 6 foot on their receiving core. They could use a big-bodied receiver, and T. Higgins, he might be big-bodied, but he's fast too. Definitely could fit what the Bills are looking for. He could be a downfield stretcher for Josh Allen, exactly what they want. That brings up the Patriots, and I think that they could get a player here that will help mold their defense, more young and speedy, and that is Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma. This is not somebody I would want the Patriots to take because I can't stand the Patriots, but this is a great pick for them and something that the rest of the league should be scary with Bill getting a kind of guy like this. So that will bring up the Saints, and Christian Fulton is the pick that I have going to the Saints. He is coming out of LSU, a very nice man-to-man type corner, and I really feel like he could be the best corner in this draft class and exactly what the Saints would need opposite Marshawn Lattimore, because Lattimore's really the only viable corner they're going to have on roster at the end of this season. So then we go to the Vikings, and they get the second corner off the board in Trayvon Diggs. Now, either one of these first two guys could be the best corner in the draft class. Obviously, Alabama, always a safe pick when you pick their defenders. They're usually good players, and Trayvon Diggs could be a really good player for this Viking defense. You've seen that Xavier Rhodes is kind of fallen off. Trey Waynes really is not going to get it done. I mean, there's just nothing to go with. They need to get Diggs. That brings up the Dolphins, and I really still think that Jonathan Taylor could be an option here. I think that another offensive tackle could be an option here, or an interior offensive lineman even. Maybe even an edge rusher if there's one that the Dolphins like. But DeAndre Swift has been gaining a lot of traction to the Dolphins in these mock drafts, so we'll kind of ride with that a little bit for now. Tyler Biadasz out of Wisconsin. He didn't have the greatest season at Wisconsin this year, but he's still graded as one of the best interior offensive linemen in this draft class. The Seahawks always tend to have a pick of need, but maybe a little bit of a reach when they pick at the end of these first rounds, and I think they'll do that again. They did that when they selected a running back a few years ago, and I feel like they're going to do that again here. So they need an interior offensive lineman, and Biadasz could be that guy. The Ravens will come up next on the clock, and Curtis Weaver, a player I really like out of Boise State, a team that I really support, is going to go to the Ravens. Curtis Weaver, just a really nice, he's a beast. I mean, great edge rusher, something that the Ravens could really use, keep their defense young, keep it rebuilding. They could lose a lot of players this year for having such a great season and not being able to pay them all. Another team that might lose some players and not be able to pay them all is the Titans. And they've got to go corner here. Adoree Jackson showed a little bit of weakness in that AFC Championship game. As a matter of fact, the entire secondary showed a little weakness in that AFC Championship game. So to keep it young, keep it fresh, keep it building up, grabbing another corner here at C.J. Henderson could be the way to go. I know, Kaz, I know you hate Florida, but he could be the man. The Packers definitely need a weapon for Aaron Rodgers, and Laviska Shenault Jr. could be that guy for them. Deep threat out of Colorado. This guy could really play, and I feel like Aaron Rodgers, even if you don't take a top-end talent, can make him perform like a top-end talent, and I feel like he kind of did that with Allen Lazard a little bit, but Lazard has shown that he has the propensity to drop some passes, as he did in that NFC Championship game. The 49ers will come up next, Super Bowl runner-ups, and there's a lot of things that the 49ers could go with. I mean, they could maybe try offensive line. They might even need running back. A couple of those running backs could be off roster, like I said in my first mock draft. If you haven't checked that out, it will be linked in the card at the end of the video, as well as the end screen. But Xavier McKinney could be a really nice safety for the 49er defense. Keep it building young, keep it building well. I could see them trying to go corner as well, with Richard Sherman kind of getting exposed a little bit against Sammy Watkins in the Super Bowl. But I think that McKinney is a safe pick. The Chiefs come up next. I got them going Cameron Dantzler out of Mississippi State, another hyped up corner. Chiefs obviously could use anything on defense all the time, and I think Dantzler is a nice corner that could definitely help out in stopping some of these big receivers they may have to go up against next year. So that is my mock draft 2.0, guys. If you agreed, let me know in the comments. If you disagreed, let me know in the comments. No immature comments, please. Just let's be a little realistic about things. This has been for fun, and nobody really knows exactly what's going to happen. I will bring you guys another mock draft at the end of the scouting combine, so look forward to mock draft 3.0 then. Thank you for watching. Remember, it is franchise content all day, every day here on Franchise Gaming, so don't forget to subscribe for more.
You're a pretty little star.